In this episode of One-Derful Life, I'm going to keep it real with you and share with you why I have given up on finding love. Just a little warning that there might be some spicy language in here, so if you have little children around, you may want to put your headphones in. I tried not to get too racy, but mama gets carried away sometimes. Hi, I'm Mary Dittman. I'm an award-winning business professor on the collegiate level and the creator of College on Fleek and One-Derful Life. Welcome to One-Derful Life. One-Derful Life is my way of describing being happy and peaceful while you're single, even if you really wish that you weren't single. Now, in this episode, I'm going to keep it very real and very authentic, and I'm going to share with you where I am in my One-Derful Life journey. So my story is that I've always wanted to be married and have a family, and I'm over 40 now. I've never been married. I don't have any children, but I've always wanted to be married, and I would love to be a stepmom. And over the last 25 years, I've done a lot of dating. I've done online dating, offline dating, the whole thing. And really a lot of people would frequently remark about how resilient I am. Like, gosh, you just keep getting your heart broken and you keep getting back out there and trying. And that's true because I'm not a quitter. But at one point, I looked at my life and said, wow. Now, I'm a business professor, and if you shared with me that your business had been losing money for 25 years, I'd probably advise you to shut it down. And that's kind of the point that I reached in my life within the last year has been truly, I've just given up on finding that relationship. Now, I don't want to be bitter, and there have been times in my life where I was afraid that I was becoming bitter, and I hope that I'm not bitter now. I don't feel bitter. Hope I don't come across as bitter, but I want to share with you why giving up for me is a good thing. And also, don't hit me with this, well, when you give up, that's when you find someone, because I think that's BS. But I know it works for some people. So let me tell you how I got to this point. A couple of years ago, I had, again, kind of given up. I felt like, well, I'm probably not going to find anybody. And I was just focused on work and projects I was doing. And a friend of mine wanted to set me up with a friend of his. And I really didn't even want to meet the guy because I felt like, why bother? But I went out anyway, and we started dating, and I really felt like I'd found my Mr. Right, and I fell very deeply in love with him. And I just really thought, hey, this is it. I love him, and he's got 2 kids, and it just seemed like a really ideal situation. And after 6 months, though, I broke up with him because he was being a jerk. Well, he came back, and I had a very candid conversation with him, and I said, look, this isn't playtime. I want to get married. And he acted like that sounded good to him and told me he loved me, and, we continued to date 6 months after that, so now we've been seeing each other for a year. I had to have the conversation with him, which I already knew was bad. If you've been dating a man for a year and you have to ask what his intentions are, that's a setup for disaster at my age. And so I asked what were his intentions, and he wanted to pretend like he did not know what the word intention meant. And he is a doctor. So he was playing dumb, and I just knew, I was like, this thing's going in the ditch right now. And he basically said, I'm not ready. I don't know if I want to get married. I don't know. I'm not ready. And so I told him I needed some space. And I didn't hear from him again. And I thought, okay, well, let him go see what else is out there, and he'll probably, come back, because I think I'm a pretty great girl and humble. And 6 months later, he was engaged to somebody else. And then, like, a few months after the engagement, got married. So he's now married to someone else. And that just completely destroyed my heart. In the meantime, I had started dating someone that I met on an online dating site. And I've done online dating on and off for the last 20 years. You meet some good guys, you meet some not good guys. It's kind of like dating in the real world. But I met this guy who's a teacher, and he had 2 children, and he seemed really excited about me. And he told me right up front he wanted to get married. And again, it just seemed like a pretty good situation, and I was happy about it. But there were just some things that weren't tracking. I was getting some red flags, and I won't go into all the details, but I discovered his disturbing and recent criminal record. And so I ended that relationship, and he proceeded to harass and terrorize me for the next 2 months. And that was very scary for me. So being afraid, combined with my heart being broken, and finding out that the man that I was in love with really was ready to get married, it just wasn't to me. The thought of trying again was just, where am I going to go? What am I going to try, online dating again? Who's got the time and energy to try to vet these people so I don't end up with another psychopath? And we throw words like psychopath and narcissist around these days, but when you're dealing with a legitimate clinical psychopath, it's very scary. So what am I going to try that again? No, I'm not ready for that. Too scared. What am I going to waste another year on someone who's just using me to pass the time? Really honestly felt like he just was using me to masturbate with. He would have kept that going for, and who knows how long. So what am I going to go out and get that again? So I'm really not sure how I would even proceed. Now, this is where a lot of dating coaches and relationship experts would say, well, this is why you're single, because of your attitude. And you have to be willing to, be vulnerable. And look, I know I've done the list. I've had the vision board. I've done the work. I've, let it go. I've done all of it for 25 years until now. I just really don't want to get hurt anymore. I don't have anything left. And the reason that I always kept trying was because I had hope. I just kept thinking, well, okay, every frog I'm kissing is not a prince, but maybe the next one. But for me, hope has become way too expensive. And I just can't afford to have it anymore because it keeps me on the merry-go-round of, continually thinking that if I just try, if I just give it, if I just kind of keep going out, keep meeting people, maybe this one will be different. And then I get my heart broken, and then I lose all that time trying to get over it. And, I'm significantly over 40, and I don't want to waste another 25 years. And that's what it's felt like. For 25 years, I've been available, and I've tried, to be where my Boaz could find me, and for 25 years, and I have nothing to show for it. And I don't want to waste another 25 years or another 5 years, or another 1 year. Me, that hope just fueled me to keep making bad decisions. And they were decisions that were costly, because the time that I've wasted in the wrong relationships, and then the recovery time when the relationship ends until I've burned up 25 years. Now, let me just say, I have not crossed the line into the territory some women are in, which is, I don't want a man, I want to be alone. I don't feel that way. I would really prefer to be married. I still have that little tiny dream, tucked in the bottom drawer of my heart of, being married and being a stepmom. But, the truth is, I'm probably not willing to do a lot to make that dream come true. My brother said something to me one time that just really actually became the foundation for One-Derful life, and that is, sis, at some point you have to make peace with being single, because it may not change. And at first that really scared me. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be single. But now I've decided that my focus needs to be on having a life I love. And would I prefer that included a husband and a family? Yeah, absolutely. But that hasn't worked out for me. And so I have to focus on just having a life that I love and that fulfills me without that. And like I said, I had to get off the merry-go-round of constantly hoping that he was out there and thinking, maybe God will send him, and then always feeling like God was mad at me because I never met my Boaz. And now my friends say, well, you need to stay open. You need to be open. And what I say is like, oh, I'm open, but I don't really mean it. I'm sorry to my girlfriends who are watching this, and I've lied to you and I've told you I'm open, but I'm actually probably not. Love you. Because the one thing that I've always wanted, even more than a husband and a family, has been, I just want peace in my life, and I want to feel happy. And I think everybody wants that. And I'm not under the illusion that married women are all happy and peaceful, because there are a lot of unhappy people who are married. There are a lot of unhappy people who are single. Each situation comes with blessings and challenges. So I'm not under the illusion that getting married just makes everything perfect, but I am now focused on just being happy, being fulfilled. And for me, a lot of that focuses on my teaching, both at the university and here, helping you at One-Derful Life. So I wrote a blog on this very subject. If you would like to read a little bit more about it, you can go to one-derfullife.com. And I would really love to hear from you in the comments. Like, have you ever given up? Or maybe you've given up already? I don't know. I would love to hear from you and find out what your experience is. And as always, I'd love to know if there's anything that you struggle with or you'd like to hear more about. You can always connect with us at one-derfullife.com. And actually next week, we're going to talk about something I made reference to a moment ago, which is God punishing you by keeping you single? And that's what we're going to talk about next week. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on One-Derful Life.